So Abba and Preach did a reaction video to, I think this was I don't know if they personally sent this to them or it was a Reddit post, but pretty much a husband's wife chose to get an abortion for an odd reason, and we're going to react to the odd reason. So here's the title. My, quote, 25 male wife, 29 female, aborted our baby over astrology. So here comes...
Wait, what was astrology? What was the baby gonna fall under?
Here, just listen to that.
Abortion because the child would be a Sagittarius. I'm upset because we're trying for a child.
That's
It's gonna be a
TLDR.
Sagittarius. Yeah, I get why she did it.
Doc.
Just fucking around.
Issues run on both sides of the family, so we're pretty surprised to find out because we weren't exactly trying. It was one of those if it happens type of situations. The baby would have been due in December. My wife is really into astrology, tarot cards, and that sort of thing. I know Reddit has a hate boner for astrology, but I see it as no different than a love of cars. Oh no. She knows I'm not into it, and up until now it hasn't been a big deal in our relationship. When we first had the maybe we should have a baby talk, she started to get a little more interested in astrology, which didn't strike me as odd. What struck me as odd was her reaction to finding out when we talked about having a baby. She was super duper excited and pushing for us to get pregnant sooner rather than later. But she seemed kind of scared when she saw the results of the first test. That was in late April. Her parents had gotten into an accident in May, needed help getting around, so she moved in with them for a few weeks. During that time, she barely called or texted me. That isn't completely out of the norm, but I felt like she would be communicating more since she was pregnant. At this point, she was showing to me she didn't look super pregnant, but I noticed a difference.
Them tits got bigger.
Later, and she looked like she had lost weight. She barely talked to me and looked extremely on edge. So finally, I got her to talk to me. She just blurts out, "I aborted the baby!" I was at a loss for words. I was just staring at her. So she was trying to play some sick book on me. And she went on to say that she felt the baby was going to be a Sagittarius. And she doesn't feel that her sign, sun sign, isn't compatible or not a good fit for a mother-child bond.
She read that somewhere too.
All right, so that's pretty much the summary of the message that was sent to them that they read out. Oh, no, I think there's a little bit more. They're just now reacting to that last line. So I screamed at her. I said nasty things. She said nasty things back. She told me that it's her body and her choice, and she's right, but I don't get to feel bad too. I'm sleeping on the couch right now, and I'm trying to figure out my life from here. And I think that's pretty much end. Yeah, that's the end of it. So,
Dude, ditcher.
You gotta leave, bro.
dude, that was my first question. Would you stay, or would you continue the relationship?
You gotta leave.
Fuck no, dude. Because if she's that, like, if she
You
can
gotta
turn on a
leave.
dime like
Yeah,
that
you gotta leave.
for something crazy serious like that, then who knows what down the road she's gonna turn on.
I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I dealt with almost let the B word slide. I dealt with a human being that I don't know if you've ever heard, but if you drop the blunt, it means somebody is having relations with your female or your.
I've never heard that.
Other.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's a funny thing, right? So when you drop the blunt as kids, or like not kids, but teenagers. Oh, somebody fucking your bitch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this girl dropped the blunt and texted me in the middle of the night. Tell that bitch blah 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 blah.
Yeah, dude, life's weird right now, man. Because I wonder where they were at where she was able to do it, man. Because Texas just passed that like no zero tolerance like abortion thing, and I feel like that's too far on the other end of the spectrum because it doesn't even exempt rape victims. I'm like, yeah,
So,
like
that is too far. That's a little wow. So before we
Yeah.
get down to the abortion discussion, I want to talk more about the horoscope thing a little bit because
I'm about
that's
to
what
say,
baffles
actually,
me is
honestly
that she
speaking-
made this decision based off of astrology.
Can we stick
So-
on that part and not talk about the abortion?
yeah, I feel like
Well, the
that's
reason
the
why, 'cause
other
I
side.
got-
It's
it's
too
the
far
other
on the other side. Like, what the fuck?
So because I want to tie in this video to the conversation, so we kind of have
Okay.
to go down it. So that's why. So
Okay, I mean, like you mean I'm talking about like the my body, my choice type.
no, I don't want to go
conversation.
down that
Yeah,
conversation.
I don't want to.
Like whatever, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
I just want to say real quick on this one before we go down the second half of this conversation is just the horoscope thing. So first off, do you guys believe in horoscopes and astrology and whatnot?
I believe.
I think they're fun and to an
Yeah.
extent, like honestly, inside me, I really want them to be real. 'Cause
Yeah,
I feel like
but-
it brings a little
Clarity or something?
Understanding.
clarity, order to personalities.
Also, it
But
makes
I mean,
it makes the
I'm a
universe
fucking
smaller.
millennial, man. I like personality things.
Yeah. Like it makes the universe smaller for me. So like if something about the sun, the moon, and stars or whatever equates to some type of difference in me,
Mm-hmm.
then I think, that's dope. But I still believe everything was created. So like,
No,
as
exactly.
much as
Exactly.
far as that goes, like I can't have somebody tell me, oh, I'm having a bad day because the sun and the moon and the stars are aligned this way. Like,
So I had this conversation with someone before who's really into astrology. One of their friends is like they do readings apparently. Like I don't know if that's business of theirs, but they make money doing readings. And my explanation was I do not believe in astrology, but I do believe in a creator, obviously God. And if God created the stars and there are messages written in the stars, I can believe that.
yeah.
But my issue is how you interpret those messages. Who are you to accurately interpret those messages? How do you know what you're reading and interpreting and seeing is what God is actually meaning for you or us to read, interpret, and see?
I think the stars, in my opinion, have less to do with our personalities, and in my opinion, I think there's a map.
Fair. No, I can agree to that. I can agree to that. It's just now the problem is I don't think anyone on this world, to my knowledge, and I'm pleading ignorance here clearly, to my knowledge, can accurately read and map the stars for a level of translation to something for us to understand. So that's why when people, like example this, try to use astrology to
Sag.
navigate life is wrong. Like I don't know. I just feel like when you hear someone's opinion about your particular sign and what what is it your what is it rising, descending,
Sending
whatever,
or whatever it is.
and that
Your moon sign.
yeah,
Air
whatever that
sign,
stuff is.
or whatever.
I feel like you got to always remember, take it with a grain of salt, because how do you know this means what it means?
She's like she's probably hyper superstitious in general. Like if she wasn't gonna find it in astrology, she would have found it in some
Somewhere
religion
else.
or some cult or something like
She's
that. Something
what's
crazy.
the word? She's susceptible,
Yeah.
or something like that.
Malleable.
Yeah, she super buys into it because I like the aspects of astrology that are personality based. Like I like the cusp thing. I like the moon stuff and like
It's
this is
interesting
like
for
your
sure.
your personality, the stars in it, and like it represents like your element and stuff like that. I love that shit. I hate the like this month you will be happy is this if the sun is out and it's just like I better stay out in the sun so that I can have a good month. Like that stuff's the weird shit, and that's where I
Yeah.
kind of draw the line.
Yeah.
Or the daily shit, like, watch out, a bitch will try you today. And so now you're on edge.
Mercury's in retrograde.
Yeah, Mercury's in retrograde.
Careful,
so
Yeah.
whatever the signs that are affected by it, wherever they say.
For some
like,
reason, I think of Michael Jackson moonwalking.
Yeah, because then it
every
gets
time I
scary
hear
because it's just
Mercury's
like,
in
oh
retrograde.
man, it's a bad month for you. And be like, fuck, I should better not go outside. Like,
now it is gonna be a bad
do
month
it.
because you put this
Yeah.
negative energy on yourself. Like if you
Yeah.
actually never heard of that, would you have had a bad month? Would you
I
have?
don't know.
It goes down to the theory of if you see the future, are you actually are you warning away from the future or are you running towards it because you've seen it? Once you see it, it's gonna happen.
I think it's a lot less fun too. I don't know. Maybe I just like
A
riding
good way
around
to
in the
dodge
chaos, but,
accountability.
like, it's a lot more fun when you don't know what's gonna happen. You're just like, well, I'm gonna try to make it work and see what
Let's get
goes
it popping.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah. no, maybe that's my chaos side because I agree with you.
To this note, like I used to date a girl that would do my tarot card readings, because she was trying to like practice it and do that stuff, and I don't know if it was like, I don't know the level to the belief that she had in what she was doing as some kind of magic, but I did notice that it for me was like a conduit of meditation. Like she would show me a symbol and would be like, "Are you thinking about something negative?" And obviously, like everyone's got like negative thoughts, and I'd be like, "All right, well, let me focus on that idea of whatever that negative thing that's bothering me has been," and it would kind of like, it would almost like give me a roadmap of how to think. And so I would ponder things and then feel better after having pondered it because it was like it kind of brought order to the chaos that was in my head every now and then. But there was a stretch where I was doing it like every 2 weeks, and that was too much because that's when I noticed that it was starting to literally organize the way I thought. And it almost felt like addictive to the sense to where like if I didn't get the next week, I was almost at a loss. And that's kind of where I fell into the like maybe I just shouldn't know, and I should just kind of go with what I'm thinking about. But I did learn that meditative practice, and so I now kind of practice it a little bit on my own outside of like the symbolism that she was doing with the tarot card reading. But I can see people gravitating towards that and maybe even getting addicted to it and wanting, like, you know, this lady who's just completely far gone, wanting to have a birth that a certain cusp or something like that to get a certain personality type for a baby. It's like fucking Pokemon when they're like re-rolling Pokemon to get different types.
Yeah.
I think I think as far as astrology goes, it's more because there's daily stuff and monthly stuff, and it's actually very layered and complex. It just allows more. It allows more people to dodge accountability, but I think it also allows more of an explanation for why things happen. And people always want.
I would argue.
No, but I'm saying
But I
people
know
are
what you're
looking.
saying.
Yeah, people are looking for a reason for why things happen to them.
Yeah.
Like constantly, and they want it to be out of their control.
They want
if
some
it's
kind of understanding. We're all seeking understanding.
Exactly, and they want it to be out of their control if it's negative. You know what I'm saying? But it's just they want these things to not. They want them to make sense, and so there's more, if you will, explanations in astrology.
Like we said when we first started this conversation, Doc and I, level of clarity and order or something like that.
Yeah.
Yo, so thanks for watching a clip of FDT. If you like what you heard, be sure to subscribe, like the clip, leave a comment, and check out our page for more content. Tune into full episodes of FDT released every Friday on Podbean, iTunes, and Spotify. Peace.